I called this one The Ancient Temple, written and produced by Larina Sheena.
Deep beneath the arid desert sands, and from the world lay an ancient temple. Its origins were unknown, but its presence was whispered of by the nomads who roamed the land. They spoke of a temple built by ancient gods, a place of power and mystery. One day, a group of archaeologists stumbled upon the temple entrance. They were excited by their discovery, eager to explore the hidden chambers and uncover the secrets of the past. The archaeologists descended into the temple, their flashlights illuminating the darkness. The air was cold and damp, and the only sound was the echo of their footsteps. They explored the temple chamber by chamber, finding ancient murals and artifacts. They were amazed by what they saw, but there was a sense of unease among them. They couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. One day, while exploring a remote chamber, one of the archaeologists disappeared. The others searched for him, but he was nowhere to be found. The next day, another archaeologist disappeared. The remaining archaeologists were terrified, but they were determined to find their missing friends. They continued to explore the temple, but they were careful to stay together. They knew that something dangerous was lurking in the shadows. One night, the archaeologists were camped in the temple when they were attacked. A creature burst out of the darkness, its eyes glowing red. The archaeologists screamed in terror as the creature attacked. It was tall and slender, with pale skin and razor-sharp claws. The creature killed 2 of the archaeologists before the others managed to escape. They fled the temple and ran into the desert night. The archaeologists never returned to the temple. They knew that the ancient gods were still there, and they were not to be disturbed. Years later, a group of tourists were on a desert safari when they came across the temple entrance. They had heard the stories about the temple, but they didn't believe them. The tourists decided to explore the temple. They ascended into the darkness, their flashlights illuminating the way. They found the same ancient murals and artifacts that the archaeologists had found. They were amazed by what they saw, but they didn't feel the same sense of unease. The tourists continued to explore the temple, but they didn't stay together. They wandered off on their own, eager to see everything. One by one, the tourists disappeared. The last tourist to disappear was a young woman named Sarah. Sarah was walking through a remote chamber when she heard a noise behind her. She turned around and saw the creature. It was standing in the shadows, its eyes glowing red. Sarah screamed in terror as the creature attacked. It leaped at her, its claws ripping through her flesh. Sarah fought back, but she was no match for the creature. It overpowered her and dragged her into the darkness. The other tourists searched for Sarah, but she was nowhere to be found. They fled the temple and ran into the desert night. The next morning, the tourists returned to the temple with a search party. They found Sarah's body in the remote chamber. Her body was mangled and mutilated. Her flesh had been torn away and her bones were broken. The search party was horrified by what they saw. They knew that the creature was still in the temple and they were not to be disturbed. The temple was sealed off and the entrance was buried under the sand. The archaeologists and tourists who had disappeared were never found. The temple remains hidden beneath the desert sands, waiting for its next victims